I want to show you how to create a performance track. I'm using a program called bandinabox. There are many of these I have played with, tried out. I have the most experience and the best success using this particular product. So to get started, I thought I'd just show you a little bit about what it takes to create a performance track. If you've done this before, you know you need some kind of a source or a chord chart to set up the rhythm section part of the song. I have a song called Ventura Highway. It was popular back in the 70s. It has a relatively simple rhythm section. I have different colors in here. I'm just going to refer to that fairly quickly. This blue line here, this is an intro where it switches to green. This is the beginning of the verse. I go up here and I tell it things like, where does the song start? Where does the looping or the repeating part of the song start? Bar 5. It's confusing because it uses this word chorus, which can have multiple meanings. But basically it means that when I get to this double bar down here, it's going to repeat back to measure 5. The reason that's important is this particular loop will mimic the entire order of the song. So that's really important too. When you're working on a performance track, you want it to mimic as closely as possible the way you're comfortable performing the song. So I've actually typed these chords in. I've selected a style here called Jazzy Soul K-pop, which this is of course a very personal thing. Doesn't have to be this style. I picked it. I picked it primarily because it was a little fresher sound than the original rhythm section. But choices for styles, those are very individual, and I'm just showing you the one that I picked. When you're at a point in your creation process where you're ready to take your track and actually create some sort of playable file for another device, there's some few pointers here. All the tools have some way to do this. I'm going to be showing you how I do it with bandinabox. I'm going to go down here to render song, and up pops this little dialog. I will show you the formats. The one I use is the M4A, and the reason for that is I have an Apple computer. I'm using Apple Music and iTunes, and the performance app I use is called OnSong, and it likes this particular M4A file extension. So when I do a render, I use M4A, and then I can also pick out my quality. I generally go with 320 is the highest, obviously. Fidelity. The reason I go with that is I have learned on playback when I'm actually performing, the better the track sounds, it just benefits everybody. So when I'm ready to render this, I want to normalize the mix. That takes care of any highs and lows in the volume, and it normalizes the frequencies, especially when you're dealing with different devices. Right now it's on a computer, but in performance I use an iPad. So yes, I want that mix to be normalized. And I just go down here and I click render. Next thing that happens is I get to pick the destination of where this file is going to render to. I have a folder called BIAB, that stands for bandinabox, and I'll go ahead and render this as an M4A file right into that folder. What we're looking at now is the file has been rendered, marked in blue here. That's our new file. At this point, I want to begin the steps I need to get it to my live performance device. So I'm going to open this with iTunes, which I do right here, and iTunes opens. It's up here. We're looking at a screen here in Apple Music. This is my new render. I've done it before, so that's why that one's there. This is my new render. I'm going to go ahead and play it. Okay, so that's the track that I just put together. I'm going to use this in live performance as an accompaniment track, just to add some more sounds when I play solo. Sometimes it's nice to have a little bit more to the accompaniment than I'm able to deliver just on my guitar alone. So at this point, I'm going to go over here to these red dots. Again, I'm in Apple Music, and what I want to do is add it to a device. The device that I add it to is my iPad, because I use the iPad to play the track in performance. So now that is all I do from the computer. Next, I will show you what I do in the application on my iPad to get this live performance track ready. To conclude the video that shows you how to create a performance track, I wanted to show you the program I use for live performance. This is called OnSong. Now, you'll see in front of us, I've loaded a chord chart. This is the chart I would use if I was actually performing the song. But now we have a performance track loaded up. And you'll see down here by this little play button, that's how I use to turn the track on. So there's the track playing right now. And I would simply be playing along with that. So just as to how I set that up, I'll go ahead and show you. All right, so now you see I can actually choose the track. I can actually choose the track just like so. Now, OnSong wants these tracks in Apple Music, which if you remember back on the computer part of this video, I showed moving this to my iPad, and that was all done in iTunes. As far as the products I'm using in this video to show you how to create a performance track, I'll put the links in the description. But I did want to show you the final product. So I hope this was helpful. Leave me a comment or a question down below if you'd like to know more about creating live tracks using these two products, bandinabox and OnSong.